if I'm really honest, I didn't recognize that I had so much trauma on board until after I got divorced. And then I recognized that I had been sexually raped a few times. I mean, I knew bits of it, but I hadn't really remembered the extent of it. So I kind of like, my psyche hid that from me. And that's where the psyche is just really interesting, right? When you cannot handle certain things, it will just block that. It will put it in like a little closet, a little door. That's it. We move on with life. And yet my husband always recognized that there were certain things that, you know, my body responded in a certain way, or I would shut down. And I didn't realize, he didn't realize. And it's only until I was actually ready to open that door again that things started to appear. And this is the beauty of the subconscious, where it always, its message or its aim for you is always to keep you safe. Right? Isn't it incredible how our minds and our bodies work to try and keep us safe? So healing that part of me really helped heal my relationships on the outside as well. The relationship to my ex-husband, the relationship to my children, the relationship to my current partner. But also it started showing me where I am in certain patterns. I wasn't aware that I was doing things. I wasn't aware that I was looking outside myself for approval. That because I had been trained to do this as a little girl of probably the age of 4. I remember going into the living room, and my parents were there, my grandmother and my grandparents, my grandfather and my grandmother, and I brought them a little drawing I'd done. And all of a sudden I could just see their smiles. I could see the energy change in the room. And they were just joyous. And when I'd gone in, it kind of felt like kind of oppressive and dark. So for me, I had that mean that I have to give of myself to receive love. So you can understand how this pattern played out in my life, right? Where I always had to give and be the one that would fix things, be the one that you know, would bring new ideas, or would make sure that I would keep the whole atmosphere going, that everyone would be happy, because that is how I would receive love. So little pattern break there. It's like, oh, I realize that it's actually a pattern. It's a belief that isn't even mine, but it's something that I picked up. So then I made it mean that I have to be this way. So same with traumatic and intense experiences. We make it mean something. We make it mean that we're not good enough, or we attracted it ourselves, or we're fearful. And once we can start letting go of that, when we can start moving that electric and that energetic charge through us, then we can really start experiencing the fullness of life, the totality of life, recognizing that we're not broken, recognizing that we're just like, we can be inquisitive like that little puppy that you see, and it's playing around, it's bouncing, and it's just smelling things, and then there's a butterfly and it's all over the place, and it's just following that butterfly. It doesn't think of the fear of that, you know, that it maybe nearly got hit by a car, because it just doesn't think of that. It's not in their awareness. And that's the beauty of once we start healing, once we start going on this healing journey, because really it is a journey. It's like, you know, you follow the little breadcrumbs, you know, you're like Hansel and Gretel, and you kind of like, ooh, what's happened there? It's like, oh, that's interesting. At the age of 4, I thought I needed to give people stuff so they could love me. It's like, oh, interesting. Oh, at the age of 6, my mother threw something at my father, and I was like, I need to be quiet. I can't be visible because, you know, it's dangerous. We just start unraveling all the patterns that we have been in, and all the little or big traumas, little incidents or big incidents that have made us who we are, have made our thoughts, have created these beliefs, because all the beliefs that we have our thoughts about ourselves, right? Then they form to be beliefs, and then the beliefs really influence how we act in the world, what we act, what we do. And that is really how we then influence the whole world around us, right? Because what we do and the action steps that we have, that is what we create in the world. So the more that we create from a place that's like, oh, I can be loving towards myself, I can actually recognize that I've had some intense experiences on board. I can start doing the somatic work for it. I can do the emotional intelligence work for it. I can do the mindset work and just become aware of all these things. That is how you start increasing your capacity. The capacity for pleasure, the capacity for intimacy, the capacity for really bringing out your vivaciousness, your scrumptiousness, your whole being into the world.